I'd like to welcome everybody back to the beautiful JW Marriott here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I have the pleasure of being joined by two folks I've been able to call friends for a little bit, and especially during our time here in Phoenix, Carmen and Todd Byxbe. Hi guys, how you doing?
Very well. Thank you for having us.
Oh,
thank you.
My pleasure. We're going to kind of focus on something very specific, and I think something that's really become important to SMACNA in the last year, and that's political involvement. And both of you have an impressive record of engagement politically at SMACNA, and I kind of want to hear why that's important with you. So Carmen, get us started off. Why is that so important to?
So for me, being politically involved is very important. I didn't grow up in this country. I came here from the Netherlands when I was 10, didn't speak any English, and really wanted to get to know the process. So at 18, I decided I wanted to become a U.S. citizen, and it took a few years to get that process going. But once I was a U.S. citizen, I decided to host the voting precinct at my house and opened up my garage to my entire neighborhood, which was a really neat experience, but it was a great way to, know how government works. And that's how I started in politics. When I bought my company 15 years ago, I realized that a lot of the legislation impacts our industry. And so that's why I wanted to become politically involved. And SMACNA is a great way of doing it.
What about you, Todd?
Similar, although I was born and raised here, but local, state, and federal government impacts especially businesses and personal people's lives in incredible ways. And it's very important from a business standpoint that we're involved and trying to help direct whether it be monies being spent or legislative policy being enacted to better our communities, our businesses, and our personal lives.
Now, a lot of members see a lot of the material SMACNA's putting out there about. Frankly, we've had a really good 18 months. I mean, let's be honest here. We've been kind of killing it
out of the park.
But a lot of contractors may not just because they're engrossed in the day-to-day. What do these wins in terms of the Davis-Bacon Act reforms and with prevailing wage and apprenticeship standards and all the money that's kind of flowing out from the Infrastructure and Jobs Act? What is the tangible benefit for members on that one? Todd, if you want to get started on that.
The tangible benefit is very direct. When the government is trying to upgrade the buildings and ventilation systems throughout their governmental buildings, contractors are able to directly have an impact and be able to upgrade those buildings, providing jobs and benefits to the particular corporations.
Yeah, and not only that, with the ERC and the 179D credits, we've been able to really benefit from those. There's been millions and millions of dollars that we've been able to put back into our companies because of these great legislative issues and programs. And we're so good about teaching people how to actually use those tax incentives.
And the great thing is, and I think especially for the general public they need to focus on, is the fact that when you use skilled labor, that first part is important, skilled, because I don't think they're realizing that they're getting maximum value and the end product is superior. I mean, you can't really doubt on that.
Correct. I mean, it's so important as far as the apprenticeship programs, all the way up to, journeyman programs that are impacting contractors to make an effect in governmental spending.
So this is a tough question. It's going back to the like a lot of our members, and they want to. One of them wants to get involved. They're like, "Hey, this all seems important. Like all these things, it impacts my business." I think the first question they ask is, how do I get started? I'm a member. How do I become involved in the first hand?
Just reach out. We've got a very wonderful committee. We've got Stan Colby that can be reached out to, Belinda and Erica. Ask questions. Get involved. Listen in on the programs that we're providing. And just be able to, if they're listening, we'll be able to help them get involved in a substantial way.
And I'll do a shameless plug, but become a CIC member.
Yep.
You will get all the best news, the latest news. The things that Stan and Belen and Erica are able to do on Capitol Hill are just amazing. The relationships that they've built are second to none. So getting involved and being a CIC member, it's a small investment in your company and yourself.
And I think that's important. The relationship part is important because and I like to call myself a reformed Capitol Hill staffer from many moons ago, will not say when and where, relationships with the actual stakeholders are very important. I mean, Stan's team just the best. Like they're the best.
Yep.
But when they see the faces, especially from the district, and the stakeholders from within the district, that's what goes the extra mile to kind of help open their eyes to the importance of these issues. So it's really good to have that level of engagement. It's good to encourage our members to get out there and basically put the flag down and be like, this is not only important for the country, but it's especially important for the district. And usually that's the kind of moves the ball forward a lot.
100%. The personal relationships that you're able to make with your legislators, congresswomen, congressmen, are amazing. You can call them up. I get personal phone calls from my Congress people, and it's a real benefit.
One-on-one conversations that we're able to have at the committee level, at a business owner's level with our legislators is what really drives them to be able to look out for what we need to have be done and legislation to be enacted. And it's so important to have those conversations. Legislators and their offices are certainly willing to listen and really do listen to our issues and what's important to us. And that dictates right to legislation that ends up helping us all.
Yeah, and I mean, in just the contribution of our sector. So a little bit of an anecdote. I have a friend that works right now helping to run the FAA, and she just kind of raves about skilled labor is what makes the difference. Like skilled labor delivers the value to the taxpayer, and just that level of engagement, just knowing. And I mean, the way kind of this administration definitely sees the value of what skilled labor can bring to the table in moving all those projects forward. And I think the thing, and I think I had this discussion earlier, was that we're in a unique spot. Like we're bipartisan. Like this, what we do, we're able to hit every kind of socioeconomic group, every part of society, because these are issues for all Americans. I mean, improving the quality of life through indoor air quality, improving the quality of our infrastructure from getting products, goods, services, people from point to point. These are across the board wins, and it's good to know that our folks kind of are starting to understand like this is a value added no matter what.
100%. I look at apprenticeship programs. That really is a benefit to the union, but it directly affects us and benefits us. So again, both sides of the aisle, right? It's not just Republican or Democratic issues. We are trying to do what's best for our companies.
Yeah. The apprenticeship is the best kept secret. It still is.
It really is. I mean, not everybody's meant to go to college, and that's just, the fact, what 4 or 5 years into this career, you can easily be looking at making not even to 100,000 and being able to support a family. I mean,
and having no college debt.
And superior benefits. And
Exactly.
stable retirement. I mean, to me, that's a win across the board. So, kind of from the political legislative spectrum, what are you guys looking forward to in the next year? Like, what do you guys feel like is going to be the big hot button issues over the next year or so?
So you mentioned it earlier. I mean, we really Stan in particular really hit a home run this last year. So a lot of our legislative agenda that has been worked on for the whole time I've been involved,
Decades.
6-7 years and longer, has been achieved. But there's still a lot more out there. There's infrastructure improvement, which directly affects contractors. There's the apprenticeship programs. It's getting diversified within our industry, which is a huge benefit to us and important aspect to what we need to do. Those are still things that need to be achieved, and we need to work hard at them.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with Todd. There are still things that we need to work on, but Stan and Erica and Belen have just really knocked it out of the park the last couple of years. We've had home runs.
Yeah.
We are lucky to have them as a team. I mean, we've got one heck of a team on our back, so that's great.
I agree.
Yes. So keep educating our legislators and our lawmakers and creating those relationships with new people coming in. The infrastructure is already there.
Yeah.
So just continuing that trajectory.
And one thing I will say, something that we've been working on committee-wise is prior approvals. And a lot of contractors do not understand prior approvals. The big aspect there is SMACNA can only, by law, can only represent us if we're knowledgeable about it. And so we need that, we need the support of contractors to sign, they're called PAs or prior approvals, so that we as contractors are giving SMACNA permission to represent us. It means nothing as far as contributions.
Yeah.
It means nothing as far as donating time. It is just the legal fact to make sure that SMACNA can appropriately represent us.
Yeah. That's a huge step. And besides, shameless plug here, we just put out a new video on the prior approval process on the SMACNA website. I encourage everyone, if you're curious, you want to get involved, go take a watch.
Yes.
Correct.
Carmen, Todd, this has been excellent. I thank you so much for taking the time to join me, and I think this has been a very enlightening conversation, not only for myself, but for our whole membership as well. But thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Seth.
Thanks, guys.